Ireland. Mist, veiled legends. Cliffs face the sea. Castles whisper tales. From the vibrant streets of Dublin to the wild beauty of the Giant's Causeway, every corner of this Emerald Isle feels alive with history and magic. This isn't just a place you visit, it's a place that captures your soul. Join us now as we journey through the breathtaking wonders of Ireland in stunning 4 kelvins. Imagine stepping into a city where every cobblestone whispers stories of poets, rebels, and dreamers. A city where ancient manuscripts lie hidden behind medieval doors, and the laughter from bustling pubs spills out into the cool night air. This is Dublin, the beating heart of Ireland, a place where tradition and modern life collide to create something unforgettable. Dublin isn't just a city, it's an experience, a rhythm, and a soul that stays with you long after you've left. Our journey through the wonders of Ireland begins here, in its capital. Dublin has been at the center of Ireland's history for over 1,000 years. Walk its streets, and you'll find a city that remembers its past while celebrating its present. At the very heart of this cultural treasure lies Trinity College, home to one of the world's greatest masterpieces, the Book of Kells. This illuminated manuscript, created by monks more than a millennium ago, is more than just ink on parchment. It's a living piece of art, glowing with intricate Celtic patterns that capture Ireland's devotion to beauty, knowledge, and faith. Standing in the hushed halls of the old library, surrounded by rows of towering bookshelves, you feel as if time itself has stopped. But Dublin doesn't just live in the past, it thrives in the present. Just steps away from history, you'll find the vibrant buzz of Temple Bar. Its narrow streets glow with life, filled with music, art, and the unmistakable sound of Irish fiddles spilling from traditional pubs. Here, strangers become friends, and the spirit of Ireland reveals itself in every laugh, every song, every raised glass. To wander Temple Bar at night is to experience the heartbeat of Dublin in its purest form. Yet Dublin has another face, one that speaks of resilience and pride. Dublin Castle, once a symbol of British power, now stands as a reminder of Ireland's strength and independence. Walking through its courtyards, you can almost hear the echoes of political struggles, victories, and the spirit of a people who refuse to be silenced. That same spirit resonates throughout the city, in the monuments, in the statues, and in the voices of Dubliners themselves. And then there is the River Liffey, cutting gracefully through the city, its bridges connecting not just streets, but generations of stories. On one side, you'll find the modern Docklands, a gleaming hub of technology and innovation. On the other, Georgian townhouses with brightly painted doors, each one a splash of color against the gray skies, telling their own little stories of Dublin's charm. This balance of old and new makes Dublin unlike any other European capital. It's deeply historic, yet boldly modern. But what makes Dublin truly unforgettable isn't just its landmarks or its history, it's its people. Warm, witty, and endlessly welcoming, Dubliners embody the Irish spirit. Whether you're asking for directions, sharing a pint, or listening to a local musician on Grafton Street, you'll feel the kindness and humor that make this city so alive. Dublin doesn't just invite you to explore, it invites you to belong. And in every corner, there are echoes of the great writers and poets who called this city home. James Joyce, W.B. Yeats, Oscar Wilde, their legacy breathes through the streets, reminding us that Dublin is not only a city of places, but a city of words, ideas, and imagination. When you sit in a quiet cafe or walk past a street performance, you feel the weight of that creative spirit still alive today. Dublin is a city that pulls you in, whether it's with the grandeur of St. Patrick's Cathedral, the quiet beauty of Phoenix Park, or the laughter rising from a pub on a rainy evening. It is history, it is culture, it is resilience, but above all, it is the heart of Ireland. And as you stand in its streets, you realize that Dublin is not just the start of a journey, it is the key to understanding everything that makes Ireland so extraordinary. So, when you arrive in Dublin, don't just visit, immerse yourself. Let its stories captivate you, its music move you, and its people welcome you. Because Dublin isn't simply a place on a map, it's a place that lives within you. And this, the capital of Ireland, is where our journey into the wonders of this emerald land truly begins. There are places on Earth that feel like the edge of the world, where land gives way to an endless horizon, and you can't help but feel the raw power of nature pressing against your soul. One of those places lies on Ireland's rugged Atlantic coast, the legendary Cliffs of Moher. Rising over 700 feet above crashing waves, these cliffs aren't just a sight to behold. They're an experience that grips you with awe, humbles you with scale, and reminds you of the untamed beauty that defines Ireland. From the moment you approach, the Cliffs of Moher command silence. Stretching for nearly 9 miles along County Clare's coast, the cliffs are Ireland's most visited natural attraction, and for good reason. Here, you don't just see the landscape, you feel it. The Atlantic winds whip through your hair, seabirds soar in graceful arcs, and the roar of the ocean below is a constant reminder that nature always reigns supreme. Standing at O'Brien's Tower, a stone lookout built in the 19th century, you're given a panoramic view that feels almost unreal. On clear days, you can see the Aran Islands resting on the horizon, and the rugged outline of Connemara's mountains in the distance. But even when the mist rolls in, shrouding the cliffs in mystery, the atmosphere is nothing short of magical. In fact, it is in those misty moments that the Cliffs of Moher feel most alive, as if the land itself is whispering ancient Celtic legends carried by the wind. And indeed, the cliffs are steeped in legend. Locals speak of the mythical sea witch Mal, who is said to have chased the hero Cuchulainn to these cliffs, only to fall to her death. The waves below, ever crashing, are said to echo her sorrow. This blend of myth and majesty is part of what makes the Cliffs of Moher so uniquely Irish. They are not just rocks and water, they are stories carved by time, woven into the soul of the land. But the cliffs are not only about drama and legends, they are also a sanctuary of life. Over 20 species of seabirds make their home here, including puffins, razorbills, and guillemots. Watching them dart and dive against the roaring backdrop of the Atlantic is a reminder that even in the harshest environments, life thrives. For nature lovers, the cliffs are a paradise where land, sea, and sky collide in a delicate balance. What makes the Cliffs of Moher even more unforgettable is how they change with every passing moment. At sunrise, the sky glows with shades of orange and pink, casting a warm light across the towering walls of stone. At midday, the ocean below glitters in blues and greens so vivid they almost seem painted. And at sunset, the cliffs turn into a silhouette against a fiery sky, a final reminder of the day's fleeting beauty. No two visits are ever the same, and every moment spent here is a treasure. For those who seek adventure, the cliffside walking paths offer breathtaking views at every step. The trail takes you along the very edge of this natural wonder, where the sheer drop into the Atlantic can both thrill and terrify. It's a walk that forces you to slow down, to breathe, and to marvel at the power of the earth itself. This is more than a hike, it's a pilgrimage into nature's raw, unfiltered majesty. But perhaps the greatest gift of the Cliffs of Moher is the perspective they give. Standing there, high above the ocean, you realize how small you are compared to the vastness of nature. It is a humbling reminder that while human history comes and goes, the cliffs have stood here for millions of years, silently watching as waves rise and fall, as storms crash and fade. They are timeless, eternal, and unshakable, a symbol of Ireland's enduring spirit. As you leave the Cliffs of Moher, the memory lingers long after. The sound of the waves stays with you. The vast horizon imprints itself in your mind, and the sheer scale of it all leaves you breathless. This is not just a place to see, it is a place to feel. And in that feeling lies the true magic of Ireland, a connection to the earth, to history, and to something far greater than ourselves. So when you stand at the edge of the Cliffs of Moher, don't rush. Let the wind surround you. Let the ocean roar beneath you, and let the cliffs remind you of what it means to be alive. Because here, on Ireland's wild Atlantic edge, you are standing on one of the most powerful wonders of the natural world, and it will stay with you forever. Some cities don't just exist on a map, they live and breathe through music, laughter, and a spirit that lingers in every street corner. In Ireland, that city is Galway, the cultural heart of the West, where tradition and modern energy meet in a vibrant dance of life. If Dublin is the country's grand stage, then Galway is its song, a melody that pulls you in, makes you smile, and keeps you swaying long after you leave. The moment you set foot in Galway, you can feel its rhythm. Cobbled streets wind through colorful facades, alive with the sound of fiddles, tin whistles, and bodhráns echoing from pubs and street performers. Music here isn't just entertainment, it's the heartbeat of the city. Every night, pubs fill with locals and travelers, singing traditional ballads that tell the stories of love, loss, rebellion, and joy. The atmosphere is infectious, a reminder that in Galway, community is everything, and music is the glue that holds it together. But Galway is more than just its sound, it is also its energy. Walk down Shop Street, and you'll be greeted by buskers who could just as easily be performing on a grand stage. Watch as crowds gather, laughing, clapping, dancing, and suddenly, you're not just a visitor, you're part of the show. Few cities in the world blur the line between audience and performer as beautifully as Galway does. The city's roots stretch deep into history. Originally a medieval fishing village, Galway grew into a bustling trade hub, ruled for centuries by the powerful tribes of Galway, merchant families who left their mark on the city's architecture and culture. Today, remnants of that past still stand proud. The Spanish Arch, a remnant of the old city walls, whispers tales of trade with Spain. Lynch's Castle, a fortified townhome turned modern bank, displays ornate stonework from the 16th century. In Galway, history doesn't sit quietly in museums. It breathes through the streets and buildings you walk past every day. Yeah, what makes Galway truly special is its soul, and nowhere is that more alive than during its famous festivals. The Galway International Arts Festival transforms the city into a stage where theater, music, and visual arts collide in a spectacular celebration. The Galway races bring an electric buzz of excitement each summer, where the passion of horse racing meets the joy of community. And then there's the Galway Oyster Festival, where food, laughter, and tradition come together in a feast that celebrates both the land and the sea. But even in its quiet moments, Galway shines. Wander along the River Corrib as it rushes toward the Atlantic, its waters full of energy like the city itself. Sit at South Hill Promenade, watching the sun set over Galway Bay, painting the sky in shades of orange and gold. As locals will tell you, it's tradition to kick the wall at the end of the promenade for good luck, a simple ritual that binds generations together. And of course, Galway is the gateway to some of Ireland's most breathtaking landscapes. Just beyond the city lies Connemara, with its wild, windswept beauty of mountains, bogs, and lakes. A short trip takes you to the Aran Islands, where time slows down and the Irish language thrives. Galway isn't just a destination. It's the perfect starting point for adventures that reveal the heart of Ireland's West. Still, no matter where you wander, it's Galway's people that stay with you. There's a warmth in their smiles, a spark in their humor, and a generosity that makes you feel welcome instantly. The famed Irish hospitality isn't a cliche here, it's real, woven into every interaction, whether it's a pint shared in a pub or a friendly chat on a street corner. As night falls and the music swells again through the city, you realize Galway isn't a place to simply visit, it's a place to live, if only for a moment, in the joy of connection. It's a reminder that travel is not only about sights, but also about sounds, feelings, and memories. And Galway, with its unshakable rhythm, ensures you leave with all three. Because when you think back to your time in Ireland, you might remember the cliffs, the castles, and the landscapes, but you'll always hear Galway's song. A song that doesn't just stay in your ears, but settles in your heart. Some journeys aren't just drives, they're odysseys. The Ring of Kerry is one of those rare experiences where every bend in the road feels like turning the page of an ancient storybook where nature and legend come together in a breathtaking masterpiece. This 179-kilometer loop through County Kerry is more than a scenic route. It's Ireland, distilled into a single journey, filled with rugged coastlines, shimmering lakes, and villages that seem untouched by time. The adventure begins the moment your wheels hit the winding road. One moment, you're gazing out over the crashing waves of the Atlantic. The next, you're weaving through emerald mountains and quiet valleys. It's a landscape that changes like moods, sometimes dramatic and wild, sometimes serene and peaceful, but always captivating. Killarney National Park is one of the jewels along this route. Here, dense woodlands, cascading waterfalls, and the serene lakes of Killarney create a picture of tranquility. Ross Castle rises proudly on the edge of Lough Lean, its stone walls whispering tales of chieftains, battles, and resilience. Take a moment on the water, where the reflection of the mountains on the glassy lake surface feels almost surreal, as though you've stepped into a dream. The road carries you higher into the mountains, to Mole's Gap, where sweeping vistas unfold like a painting brought to life. From here, the valleys stretch endlessly, with sheep dotting the hillsides and the wind carrying the faint scent of heather. Every glance feels like it could be framed and hung in a gallery. But the Ring of Kerry isn't only about landscapes, it's about people and stories. Villages like Sneem welcome travelers with pastel-colored houses and friendly smiles. The pace is slower here, unhurried, inviting you to linger, to sip a cup of tea, or enjoy a bowl of seafood chowder, while listening to locals share stories passed down for generations. These small moments of connection are as much a part of the journey as the scenery. Then there's Waterville, perched on the edge of the Atlantic. This charming seaside town once captured the heart of Charlie Chaplin, who returned here year after year for its beauty and warmth. Standing on the beach as the waves crash against the shore, you understand why Waterville feels like a place where time takes a pause. Skellig Michael, though not directly on the ring, is a detour worth imagining. Rising dramatically from the ocean, this ancient monastic site is a UNESCO World Heritage treasure. Monks once braved the elements here, building stone beehive huts on the cliffside, living lives of devotion and isolation. Today, it stands as a hauntingly beautiful symbol of Ireland's spiritual past, and even made its way into modern legend as a filming location for Star Wars. As the ring continues, coastal cliffs drop dramatically into the ocean below, the waves endlessly pounding the shore. Inch Beach stretches for miles, its golden sands glowing in the sunlight, beloved by surfers and wanderers alike. Standing there, with the Atlantic winds in your hair, you feel both small and infinite, just another soul touched by Ireland's wild beauty. But perhaps the most powerful moments come when the light begins to fade. As the sun sets over the Atlantic, the sky erupts in shades of crimson and gold, casting a magical glow across the land. Villages begin to twinkle with warm lights, the roads quiet down, and a deep sense of peace settles in. On the Ring of Kerry, twilight isn't just an ending, it feels like a blessing. The ring is often called a drive, but to travel it properly is to surrender to its rhythm, to stop often, to breathe deeply, to allow yourself to be moved not only by the sights, but also by the stories, the legends, and the lives that unfold here. It's a reminder that Ireland's beauty isn't just in its grand moments, but in the way its landscapes and people weave together seamlessly into an unforgettable experience. By the end of the loop, you realize you've seen more than just mountains, lakes, and sea. You've glimpsed the soul of Ireland, a place where myth feels real, where nature is a storyteller, and where every turn in the road brings you closer to understanding why this land has captured hearts for centuries. The Ring of Kerry isn't just a journey you take, it's a journey that takes you. And long after you've left, you'll find yourself replaying its scenes in your mind, as though Ireland itself refuses to let you go. Some places stop you in your tracks, not because of what you see, but because of what you feel. The Cliffs of Moher are one of those places. Rising dramatically from the Atlantic Ocean to heights of over 700 feet, these cliffs stretch for nearly 9 miles along Ireland's western coast, offering a sight so raw, so powerful, that it has become one of the most iconic landmarks in the entire world. Standing here feels like standing at the very edge of existence itself. The moment you step onto the cliffside pathway, you are met with an overwhelming panorama. The Atlantic surges below, its waves crashing against the sheer walls of limestone, throwing spray into the air as though the ocean is breathing. Seabirds swirl above puffins, guillemots, and razorbills, all finding refuge on the rocky ledges. The air is thick with salt, wind, and the energy of untamed nature. It's not just a view, it's a symphony of sound, motion, and feeling. O'Brien's Tower, perched proudly on the highest point of the cliffs, stands like a guardian of the past. Built in the 19th century by Sir Cornelius O'Brien to impress tourists, it continues to do just that. From its vantage point, the cliffs seem endless, stretching into the horizon, their rugged edges softened by the glow of the sun or shrouded in the mystery of mist. On clear days, you can see as far as the Aran Islands and even the mountains of Connemara, like distant secrets calling from across the sea. But what makes the Cliffs of Moher truly unforgettable is the atmosphere. On some days, the sky is clear, the sun casting golden light on the green slopes that crown the cliffs, making the waters below shimmer like liquid sapphire. On others, the fog rolls in, cloaking the cliffs in ghostly white, as though Ireland itself is whispering a secret only the land and sea can understand. Each visit is different, each moment unique, and that is the magic of this place. Legends, of course, find a home here too. Local folklore tells of a giant hag, Mal, who chased the hero Cú Chulainn across Ireland, only to fall to her death at these cliffs. Some say her spirit lingers in the rocks, her story echoing in the wind that howls endlessly along the edge. Whether you believe in the myths or not, there is no denying the spiritual weight that hangs in the air here. The cliffs feel alive as though they are not just part of the earth, but guardians of it. Walking along the pathways, every step brings a new perspective. The vantage points are endless, from dramatic overhangs where the Atlantic crashes into caves far below, to quiet nooks where wildflowers cling stubbornly to the earth, adding bursts of color to the windswept green. It's a reminder of the delicate balance between fragility and power, between life and the forces that shape it. And yet, despite their wildness, the cliffs also carry a strange sense of peace. Sitting on the grass, listening to the ocean's rhythm, watching the gulls glide effortlessly in the wind, you feel a deep stillness wash over you. It's as if the cliffs are teaching you something about patience, about endurance, about how beauty is often carved from the harshest struggles. The Cliffs of Moher are not just Ireland's edge, they are Ireland's heartbeat, where the land meets the sea in a collision of power and grace. They embody the very spirit of this country, strong, enduring, shaped by time and elements, and yet endlessly captivating. When the sun begins to set, the cliffs transform into something even more magical. The horizon burns with shades of gold, crimson, and violet, while the Atlantic reflects the colors like a restless mirror. Shadows deepen along the cliff face. The birds make their final flights of the day, and the world feels both immense and intimate in that fleeting light. It is one of those rare moments when time seems to stand still. Long after you leave, the memory lingers, the crash of the waves, the cry of the birds, the wind tugging at your hair, and that view stretching endlessly into forever. The Cliffs of Moher are not simply a destination. They are an encounter with something larger than yourself, something eternal. Visiting here isn't about checking a place off a list, it's about standing on Ireland's edge and letting it speak to you. And once you've stood at the Cliffs of Moher, you'll never forget what they whispered. Some cities don't just live in the present, they sing with the echoes of the past, all while dancing to the rhythm of the future. Galway, perched on Ireland's rugged west coast, is one of those rare places where history, music, art, and spirit come alive in the streets. Known as the cultural heart of Ireland, Galway is more than a city. It's a feeling, a celebration, and a welcome all wrapped into one. Walking into Galway feels like stepping into a living canvas, painted with colors as bold as its people. The streets are lined with medieval shop fronts and modern cafes, all buzzing with life. Musicians fill the air with the sound of fiddles, guitars, and bodhráns, while performers turn the cobblestones into their stage. It's impossible not to be swept into the energy, where every corner seems alive with a story waiting to be told. Shop Street is the beating heart of the city. Here, laughter spills from pubs, the aroma of fresh bread and roasted coffee drifts from local bakeries, and the sound of conversation blends seamlessly with the music of street performers. It's not uncommon to find a young fiddler playing alongside a guitarist while locals gather around, tapping their feet. The result is magic, a kind of spontaneous joy that defines Galway. The Spanish Arch, a relic of the city's medieval past, stands as a reminder of Galway's role in global trade centuries ago. Here, merchants once greeted ships from Spain and beyond, exchanging goods, ideas, and culture. Today, it's a peaceful riverside spot where locals relax and visitors soak in the mix of history and modern life flowing seamlessly together. And then there's the Claddagh, once a fishing village and now a part of Galway itself. This is the birthplace of the iconic Claddagh ring, with its heart, crown, and hands symbolizing love, loyalty, and friendship. Walking here, by the mouth of the River Corrib, as it meets Galway Bay, you can almost feel the heartbeat of generations of fishermen, families, and lovers who called this place home. But perhaps, nothing captures Galway's soul more than its festivals. The Galway International Arts Festival transforms the city into a vibrant hub of creativity, with artists, musicians, and performers from around the world filling its streets and stages. During the Galway races, the city sparkles with excitement as horse racing fans gather for one of Ireland's most celebrated sporting events. And then, of course, there's the Galway Oyster Festival, where the sea's bounty becomes a reason for revelry, laughter, and community. At night, Galway reveals another side of its spirit. The pubs come alive not with the thump of modern beats, but with the soulful strains of traditional Irish music. Places like Enchanting and the Crane Bar become sanctuaries of sound where fiddles, flutes, and voices join together in sessions that carry on until the early hours. There's no stage, no spotlight, just musicians playing for the love of it, while everyone joins in the chorus of the night. And then, of course, there's Galway Bay. As the sun sets, the water glows with hues of gold and pink, the waves gentle and steady as though whispering lullabies to the city. Stand here at the edge of the bay, and you'll see why poets have written of this view for centuries. It's not just beautiful, it's soul-stirring. Galway is also a gateway to some of Ireland's most iconic wonders. From here, it's just a short journey to the rugged Aran Islands, where ancient forts cling to the cliffs, and Gaelic is still spoken in its purest form. Or head west to Connemara, with its wild landscapes of bogs, lakes, and mountains that seem to stretch forever. Galway isn't just a destination, it's a starting point for adventures that define Ireland's magic. But what stays with you most isn't the history, the music, or even the festivals. It's the people. Galwegians are known for their warmth, their humor, and their openness. In Galway, you're never just a tourist, you're welcomed as a friend. Striking up a conversation in a pub, you might find yourself singing along to a song you don't know, or laughing with strangers who feel like family by the end of the night. That's Galway. It wraps you up in its embrace and makes you part of its story. Galway is not just a city on the map, it's the heart that beats with Ireland's rhythm. It's laughter on cobblestones, music in the air, the glow of a sunset over the bay, and the feeling of belonging in a place you've just arrived. To walk through Galway is to walk through Ireland's soul, and once you've been here, a part of it will always stay with you. There are places in the world that feel untamed, where nature still holds dominion, and where time seems to move to a slower, more ancient rhythm. In Ireland, that place is Connemara, a land of raw beauty, endless skies, and rugged wilderness that defies description. If Galway is Ireland's heartbeat, then Connemara is its wild, untamed soul. As you leave the bustle of the city behind, the road winds into a landscape that feels both familiar and otherworldly. Rolling mountains rise like watchful guardians, lakes shimmer like mirrors of the sky, and vast stretches of bogland seem to stretch forever, painting the land in hues of green, gold, and brown. This is Connemara, a place where silence speaks, where the land itself tells stories, and where every turn reveals a vista more breathtaking than the last. The 12 Bens, a majestic mountain range, dominate the horizon. Their sharp peaks stand proudly against the sky, shifting in color as the light changes throughout the day. Hikers and dreamers alike find themselves drawn here, climbing trails that lead to panoramic views where the Atlantic Ocean glitters on the horizon. From these heights, Connemara feels endless, a vast wilderness that humbles and inspires in equal measure. At the heart of this land lies Connemara National Park, covering thousands of hectares of mountains, bogs, heaths, and woodlands. It is a sanctuary for both wildlife and weary souls seeking peace. The trails here lead through quiet valleys and up windswept hills, where red deer move gracefully and wild ponies graze freely, their manes blowing in the Atlantic breeze. These ponies, small but strong, are a symbol of the region, resilient, enduring, and beautiful, just like Connemara itself. And then, out of the wilderness, rises something unexpected: Causeway Abbey, a striking castle-like building reflected perfectly in the waters of its lake. Causeway is one of Ireland's most romantic sites. Built in the 19th century as a love story between a wealthy man and his wife, it later became a Benedictine abbey, and today it stands as a serene place of history and devotion. Wander through its Victorian walled gardens, and it feels as though you've stepped into another time, where beauty and tranquility reign. Connemara is not only about grand views and historic landmarks, it's also about the sea. Along its rugged coastline, the Atlantic crashes against rocky shores, carving shapes that speak of time and tide. Tiny fishing villages like Roundstone and Clifton offer glimpses into local life, where colorful houses line the streets and the smell of fresh seafood drifts from family-run restaurants. Here, you can taste the Atlantic itself: oysters, mussels, and fish, so fresh they almost leap from the plate. Clifton, often called the capital of Connemara, is a lively hub surrounded by mountains and ocean. Its streets are filled with charm, with local shops, welcoming pubs, and art galleries that showcase the creativity of the region. Every September, Clifton hosts the Connemara Pony Show, where the iconic ponies take center stage, celebrated by locals and admired by visitors from around the world. It's not just an event, it's a reflection of the bond between the people and their land. But perhaps the most unforgettable aspect of Connemara is its light. As the sun rises, it paints the mountains and bogs in shades of pink and gold. At midday, the skies are a deep, endless blue reflected in shimmering lakes. And at sunset, the entire landscape glows with a fire that feels almost otherworldly, as though the land itself is alive. Even in the mist and rain, Connemara shines, cloaked in a beauty that is haunting and ethereal. For centuries, artists, poets, and musicians have drawn inspiration from Connemara's wild landscapes. It is a place that doesn't just impress the eye, it stirs the soul. You don't simply see Connemara, you feel it. It's in the wind that rushes across the open land, in the silence broken only by birdsong, and in the way the mountains stand eternal, watching over all who come here. Connemara isn't polished or tame, it doesn't need to be. Its beauty lies in its ruggedness, in the way it resists being controlled, and in the freedom it inspires in those who wander its paths. Here, you don't just travel, you surrender. You give yourself to the land, to its silence, to its vastness, and, in return, it offers you something rare: peace. To stand in Connemara is to stand in the presence of Ireland's wild heart. It's not about ticking sites off a list, it's about experiencing the raw, untamed power of nature, about losing yourself in the silence, and about finding yourself again in the stillness. Connemara is Ireland in its purest form. Wild, free, and unforgettable. Some places feel timeless, untouched by the rush of the modern world. Places where traditions live on, where the whispers of history echo in every stone, and where life follows the rhythm of nature. In Ireland, that place is the Aran Islands Inis Moher, Inis Meayan, and Inis Oir, 3 small islands off the coast of Galway that guard the Atlantic like ancient sentinels. Step onto these shores, and it feels like stepping back in time, into a world where simplicity, beauty, and tradition endure. The journey begins with a ferry across the restless Atlantic. As the mainland fades behind you, the islands rise from the horizon, rocky, windswept, and utterly captivating. With their stone walls, patchwork fields, and dramatic cliffs, the Aran Islands hold a rugged beauty that is both stark and mesmerizing. Life here has never been easy, but it is precisely this struggle against the elements that has shaped the unique spirit of the islands and the people who call them home. On Inis Moher, the largest of the 3 islands, one of Ireland's most extraordinary ancient sites awaits Dún An Chasa. Perched on a 100-meter high cliff that plunges into the Atlantic, this prehistoric stone fort is over 3,000 years old. Its semicircular walls, built with dry stone techniques, still stand strong, a testament to the resilience of those who came before. Standing at the cliff's edge, with the ocean roaring below and the fort behind you, the sensation is overwhelming. It is as though you are standing at the edge of the world, caught between history and infinity. Everywhere on the islands, stone walls stretch endlessly across the land, dividing tiny plots of farmland. These walls are more than boundaries, they are symbols of survival. For centuries, the islanders built them by hand, using the stones cleared from the harsh ground, creating a mosaic of enclosures that protect crops from the relentless winds. From above, the land looks like a giant puzzle, stitched together by human hands and hearts determined to live in harmony with this wild environment. Life on the Aran Islands is steeped in tradition. Irish, or Gaelic, is still spoken here as a daily language, and the culture feels deeply connected to Ireland's roots. Music drifts from local pubs, where fiddles, tin whistles, and bodhrans carry the soulful sound of Irish folk songs. The Aran sweater, world famous for its warmth and distinctive patterns, was born here, each stitch once telling a story of the family who made it. To wear one is to carry a piece of this land, woven with meaning and memory. On Inis Meayan, the middle island, life feels even slower. It is quieter, less touched by tourism, and perhaps the most authentic of the 3. Here, the connection to tradition is especially strong. The poet John Millington Synge once lived here, finding inspiration in the land, the sea, and the people. His plays captured the spirit of the islands, their struggles, and their enduring resilience. To walk the paths of Inis Meayan is to feel that same inspiration, to sense the poetry hidden in the rocks and waves. Inis Oir, the smallest of the islands, greets you with charm. Colorful cottages line its harbor, and its sandy beach sparkles under the sun, a rare sight in this rugged landscape. The wreck of the MV Plassey, a cargo ship that ran aground in 1960, now lies rusting on the rocks, a haunting and dramatic reminder of the ocean's power. Over time, it has become a symbol of the island, blending seamlessly with the landscape, embraced rather than forgotten. But the true magic of the Aran Islands lies in their sense of isolation. The modern world feels far away here. The nights are filled with starlight, unobscured by city lights. The days are measured by tides and winds, and conversations often pause to listen to the sound of the sea. It is a place that forces you to slow down, to breathe, to reconnect with yourself and with nature. The cliffs of Inis Moher, the beaches of Inis Oir, The quiet trails of Mayan all are bound together by the Atlantic Ocean, whose presence is constant and commanding. The sea provides, but it also demands respect. Generations of fishermen have sailed its waters, and generations have told stories of its beauty and its fury. To live on the Aran Islands is to live with the sea as both a neighbor and a challenge. Visitors come here seeking beauty, but they leave with something more, an understanding of resilience, of simplicity, of the enduring human spirit. The Aran Islands are not polished or modern. They don't need to be. Their power lies in their authenticity, in the way they hold on to their past while embracing their present. Standing on these islands, with the wind in your hair and the Atlantic stretching endlessly before you, you can feel Ireland's soul in its purest form. The Aran Islands are not just places on a map, they are living stories, woven into the fabric of Ireland's history and heart. To experience them is to experience Ireland itself, ancient, timeless, and unforgettable. Legends say it was built by giants. Science says it was forged by fire and stone. But standing before the Giant's Causeway, you realize it doesn't matter which story you believe because both feel true. This is not just a place you visit. It's a place you feel deep in your bones. Rising from the Atlantic Ocean on Ireland's northern coast, the Giant's Causeway is one of the most astonishing natural wonders on Earth, where myth and geology intertwine in breathtaking harmony. As the waves crash against the rugged shoreline, a surreal landscape unfolds over 40,000 interlocking basalt columns, stretching like a staircase that disappears into the sea. Perfectly hexagonal, they look as if they were carved by human hands, but they are the result of volcanic activity some 60 million years ago. Molten lava cooled and cracked in geometric patterns, leaving behind this vast puzzle of stone. It's a reminder that nature is the greatest architect, capable of creating designs more precise than any human blueprint. But for the Irish, the Giant's Causeway is more than geology, it is legend. According to myth, it was built by the giant Fionn Mac Cumhail, who laid the stones across the sea to reach Scotland and confront his rival, Benandonner. Some versions say the confrontation ended with trickery rather than battle, with Fionn disguised as a baby so enormous that Benandonner fled in terror, tearing up the causeway as he retreated. Even today, if you gaze across the waters, you'll find the same basalt formations on the Scottish side at Fingal's Cave, fueling the belief that the story might not be entirely legend after all. Walking along the columns, you feel like you're stepping into a different realm. The stones rise and fall like waves frozen in time, forming natural platforms that seem designed for climbing and exploring. Some stand tall like pillars, others spread low across the shore, but together they create a mesmerizing pattern that stretches as far as the eye can see. The Atlantic pounds against them relentlessly, yet they remain strong and unyielding, as though guarding Ireland's northern edge. Every part of the Giant's Causeway has a name, born from centuries of imagination. The wishing chair, a perfectly formed seat of basalt, polished, smooth by countless visitors, is said to grant luck to those who sit upon it. The Giant's Boot, a massive rock shaped like a shoe, is said to belong to Fionn himself, and the chimney stacks rise dramatically from the cliffside, resembling the remains of some ancient fortress. These names and stories breathe life into the stones, making them more than rocks. They become characters in a timeless tale. Climbing higher onto the cliffs above the causeway, the view expands into something even more extraordinary. The rolling green hills of County Antrim meet the endless expanse of the sea, and the coast stretches into dramatic headlands and hidden bays. The wind whips across the cliffs, carrying with it the salty spray of the ocean. And for a moment, you feel both humbled and elevated, small in the face of nature, yet deeply connected to its power. The Giant's Causeway is not just a spectacle of nature, it is a World Heritage Site, protected for its unique geology and its cultural importance. It draws millions of visitors from around the world, yet it retains a sense of mystery, as though it holds secrets it will never reveal. Each tide reshapes it subtly. Each storm reminds us that it is still alive, still changing, even after millions of years. But what makes the Giant's Causeway unforgettable is the way it merges science and myth, reality and imagination. You can stand there knowing the exact geological process that created these stones, and yet still feel the pull of the legend. You can trace the cracks in the basalt, measure the angles, and still believe, for a fleeting moment, that giants once walked this path. As the sun begins to set, the causeway transforms. Golden light spills across the columns, casting long shadows that make the stones glow as if they're alive. The Atlantic softens to hues of orange and purple, and the cliffs blaze with color. It is a moment that feels eternal, as though time itself has paused to honor this place. And when darkness falls, the causeway rests under a blanket of stars, silent and watchful, as it has for millions of years. The Giant's Causeway is not just Ireland's natural wonder, it is a bridge between worlds, between myth and history, between science and storytelling, between the human heart and the raw, untamed earth. To stand here is to feel connected not just to Ireland, but to the very forces that shaped our planet. It is a reminder that beauty often lies in the places where fact and legend meet, where we allow both wonder and truth to coexist. When you leave the Giant's Causeway, you carry more than photographs. You carry a story of giants and gods, of fire and stone, of a land that refuses to be ordinary. And that story will stay with you forever, echoing like the crash of waves on ancient rock, reminding you that the world is still full of wonders, waiting to be believed. Every journey through Ireland feels like a storybook coming to life. And as we close our exploration of this enchanting land, there is no better place to end than Dublin, the beating heart of Ireland, a city where history, art, music, and modern energy collide in perfect harmony. Dublin isn't just a capital. It's a living canvas, painted with the colors of tradition and innovation, a place where every street corner hums with life and every pub echoes with stories older than the city itself. The first thing you notice in Dublin is its warmth, not just from the architecture or the streets, but from the people themselves. The Irish have a gift for storytelling, for turning simple conversations into unforgettable memories. Walk into a pub, and you'll find laughter mingling with the strum of a guitar. Pass through Temple Bar, and you'll hear the heartbeat of the city folk tunes, clinking glasses, and the sound of friends, both new and old, celebrating life. Yet, Dublin is not defined by nightlife alone. It is a city steeped in history. The cobbled streets of Trinity College lead you to one of Ireland's greatest treasures, the Book of Kells, a manuscript over 1,000 years old, its pages glowing with intricate artistry. In those ancient lines of ink lies not just Ireland's story, but the story of civilization itself, a testament to knowledge, resilience, and the power of the written word. A short walk away, Dublin Castle tells its own tale of power, politics, and transformation. Once the stronghold of British rule, today it stands as a monument to Ireland's sovereignty and spirit. Here, history is not silent. It speaks through the stones, reminding you of the struggles and triumphs that shaped this nation. Street. Patrick's Cathedral rises in Gothic splendor, its spire piercing the sky, a reminder of faith, resilience, and Ireland's enduring cultural soul. Inside, light streams through stained glass, casting colors across the stone floor, while the whispers of centuries past seem to echo between the pews. It is a place of reflection, of quiet awe, and of connection to something timeless. But Dublin is also a city of revolution and rebirth. O'Connell Street bears the statue of Daniel O'Connell, the great liberator, while the General Post Office still holds the scars of the 1916 Easter Rising. Every monument, every plaque, every corner of this city tells the story of Ireland's fight for freedom, a story etched into the Irish spirit forever. And then there's the River Liffey, flowing steadily through the heart of Dublin, its bridges connecting past and future. The Hoppenny Bridge, delicate and white, is more than a crossing, it's a symbol, a link between generations, where lovers, poets, and dreamers have walked for centuries. As the sun sets, its reflection shimmers across the water, painting Dublin in gold. But Dublin is not frozen in the past. It is alive with creativity, art, and innovation. Street murals burst with color, modern architecture rises alongside Georgian townhouses, and cafes buzz with young voices shaping tomorrow. This is a city that honors its roots while embracing the future, a place where poets like James Joyce and W.B. Yeats once wrote, and where new voices continue to rise. Of course, no Dublin experience is complete without Guinness. The Guinness Storehouse offers more than just a drink. It offers a story. From its brewing origins to its global legacy, it is part of Dublin's identity. And when you sip a pint at the rooftop Gravity Bar, with the entire city stretching out before you, you realize it's not just about the beer. It's about being part of something greater, something that unites people across the world. What makes Dublin unforgettable is its spirit. It's in the laughter spilling out of pubs on Grafton Street, in the buskers filling the air with music, in the quiet reverence of historic halls, and in the warm smile of a stranger who feels like an old friend. Dublin has the rare gift of making you feel at home, no matter where you're from. As we close this journey through the wonders of Ireland, Dublin leaves us with one final message: that a land is more than its landscapes, more than its history. It is its people, its spirit, its stories. From the Cliffs of Moher to the Giant's Causeway, from ancient castles to rolling green hills, Ireland has shown us beauty in every form. But here, in Dublin, it all comes together, a city that embodies the soul of a nation. When you leave Dublin, you don't say goodbye. You carry it with you in the songs you've heard, in the stories you've gathered, in the warmth that lingers in your heart. And you know, without a doubt, that one day you'll return. Because Ireland is not just a destination, it's a feeling. And Dublin, its vibrant capital, ensures that feeling never fades. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed exploring Prague as much as I enjoyed guiding you through it. If you found this travel guide helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more beautiful destinations from around the world. Got a favorite spot in Prague? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, safe travels, and see you in the next video.